right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Free. I'm Ryan. I'm the lead pastor and executive director here. This is Carrie. She is the associate executive director here. So good to be with you all on this fine Saturday evening. To those of you joining us online, we're glad you're here. Whatever state you're joining us from, we're glad you're part of this community. Glad you're tuning in tonight or throughout the week, maybe. Just glad you're here. Glad you're part of things. Just to give you a reminder, this is a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees. And what we do here is break the silence of addiction while creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And there's always one thing we don't do in this community, and you can shout it out on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
We don't do shit!
Yes, we do not do shit. That was funny. We have lots of energy in this room tonight, y'all. Carrie, tell us some things we do.
Well, first off, if tonight is your first night joining us, welcome. We're glad that you're here, and we would love to get to know you better. Just outside of these doors after service, come find one of us or David or Erica. They're wearing the little lanyards and waving their hands in the second row here, and they'll get you connected with a welcome bag. Inside that welcome bag, you'll find some fresh roasted wagon coffee from the beautiful Tammy Canada and her team at Wagon Coffee, as well as some free swag and a meeting schedule. On the back of that meeting schedule, you'll find a QR code that if you scan it, you'll find all the different ways to stay connected. You can download our app from there. You can get a current meeting schedule, because again, we keep adding them faster than we can print them, and all the different events, including how to sign up for our newsletter. If you're on our newsletter, you'll find out who the Guest Storyteller is each week and all the events that we have coming up. And
you love the newsletter.
I love the newsletter.
Man, just do her a favor and sign up for the newsletter.
It's not that hard, and you just get to hear from me every week, so that's kind of fun, I think. Joy. And if you find typos, that's my fault. I'll own it. Like that's what I do well. We have an event coming up on June 18th at 6 p.m. in the cafe. We are calling it Feed the Soul and Come Eat.
Feed the Soul, come eat.
Oh yeah, no ands, no ampersand sign on that. So what this is this is a cooler version of a potluck. So this is a way, come join the community. I know a lot of us might sit next to people, you might see them every week, but this is an opportunity for us to sit and mingle, talk, have some food together. You do not have to bring a dish, but we do ask that it would be nice if you did, but don't let that be a barrier for coming and connecting with the community and getting to know those people you sit next to
100.
all week long. And that's all I got right now.
That's all you have.
That's
okay,
all I got.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, y'all. Well, the way we get started here on a Saturday night is with celebrations. We start with the good. We lift up the good. We celebrate one another. It's a profound part of our time together. God joins with us in these celebrations, and we get to cheer for each other. So we take 3 minutes for this. By the way, if you're online, drop your celebrations in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments. We'll join with you there. For those of you in-house, well, Matt has a mic on this side. Tammy Canada has a mic on this side. All you got to do is raise up your hand, give the good news. Let's take 3 minutes. This time is yours.
My name's Tom. I'm an alcoholic, and I had 13 years last Monday.
Oh, way to go, Tom. Beautiful.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey, alcoholic at 18 months on the 15th.
Way to go, Jeffrey. Congratulations. Happy 18.
Hi, I'm Em, and this is my first 24 hours sober after like 3 years. So.
Way to go, Em. Glad you're here. Glad you're here.
Okay. And we're Erica and David, and we celebrated 14 years of marriage last Tuesday. I think so.
We'll celebrate it. Yeah, happy 14.
I'm Fredo. I'm celebrating 141 days clean and sober, And also next week's gonna be my sister's baby. My nephew's gonna be born next week. So
All right. Happy baby day and happy 141 days, Fredo. Other celebrations in the house. Here we go.
I'm Amanda, and I'm celebrating that school is done and that the reading scores went way up.
All right. Reading scores in school is done. Which means we get 4 kids in the house starting yesterday, all day long. Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. Celebrate the chaos. Other celebrations.
I'm Kathy, and I had a beautiful friend send me poems this week because he knew it was a rough week for me, and I appreciate that so very much.
Oh, what a beautiful thing. Yeah. Matthew, all the way in the back.
I'm Leanne. On the 10th, I had 18 months.
All right, Leanne. Happy 18 months.
I'm Jason, and I think it was 3 days ago, Tammy Kennedy had a birthday.
She did have a
Happy
birthday. Happy
35th,
birthday, Tammy.
35th birthday.
35, yes, 35.
And I think I'll finish with the gentleman speaking of nephews. I'm very proud of my nephew. He's 18 years old. He's a senior in high school, and he's one of the top baseball players in the United States. And last night, in the last inning, his team was down 5-3, and he got up with bases loaded and 2 outs. And you can only guess what happened. He shot a 460-foot home run over the fence with 15 MLB scouts at his game. And he hit a grand slam, and they won the game.
Grand salami time. We'll celebrate it. Thank you, Matthew. Come on up, Tammy.
Hi guys, good evening.
I was going to
Coming
mention
to
your
this side?
birthday, but Jason beat me
I know
to it.
Jason
So
did it.
happy birthday. It was on Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I knew that. I was just seeing if she
Yeah.
knew her birthday.
Yeah.
We are 7 weeks apart, we figured out.
Yeah.
I always thought it was 6 weeks, but you
You're
corrected
much
me this
older.
week. And
Much.
I am much older. Wiser.
I don't know.
All right, let's join online people, shall we?
Evan says 70 days sober today.
Way to go, Evan. Happy 70. Wasted Infusion says 8 months clean today. Way to go, man. Happy 8 months. Glad you're here.
Jennifer celebrating 855 days clean and feeling more clear-minded and at peace with certain situations. Learning God rids us of the things not meant for us to make room for the things he has in store.
Yeah, we'll celebrate that, Jennifer. Beautiful. 855 days.
I might have to get like reading glasses because it's getting harder.
I know you got to get those readers.
Getting older.
Do y'all know I walked in last night? She was laying. Can I tell this story? She was laying in bed. She had her glasses on. Then she had readers on top of that. This was wild. This is what happens when you get older, apparently.
I guess so.
Sorry, am I going to pay for that one? Bifocals.
That is. It's part of it. It's okay.
I know. Do y'all notice that we have to hold the phone out here a little bit now? In menus and restaurants, you hold them out here a little bit?
It's a gift, yeah?
It's a gift. It's all a gift. Okay, thank you, Tammy. All right, y'all. Tonight we are wrapping up this 4-week series that is called The Work of Being Human. And tonight is, well, about that shark.
Never met a match I couldn't handle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know.
Yeah. So what do you do when you realize you don't see as clearly as you thought you did? Like, have you ever been totally unaware of something that others around you already see? And by the way, who are the ones in your life who have permission to tell you about the things that you cannot see for yourself? So these are some of the questions I want to explore with you tonight. Because a couple of weeks ago when we were in Hawaii, I had this experience. And these questions just kind of came to the surface. And it was a couple of weeks ago, Tammy and I were in Hawaii celebrating 21 years of marriage together, and we were exploring different coffee farms because Tammy is now sourcing Kona coffee to have here. In fact, it's freshly roasted. It just arrived this week. It is roasted. She'll be selling bags of Kona coffee. You can get them this week. The labels aren't in yet, but they'll be in soon. But even if you want one without the label, you can get a bag of Kona coffee, and it is very good coffee. So here's what you need to know. Whenever there's an ocean nearby, give me a mask and a snorkel, and I'm like totally in my happy place for many, many hours, living my best life ever. So when we were in Hawaii, anywhere we went, well, I would take those things with me because you just never know. So whenever we would leave, I would throw the mask and a snorkel in the Jeep, and we would go because you never know. One morning we woke up and we decided to do a hike in one of the national parks. So we pull up in the parking lot, and of course I grab my mask and snorkel because you never know, and we set out on this hike, and halfway in, I'm so glad I brought them because we arrived at this beautiful bay, and immediately upon our arrival, you could see these huge turtles just kind of swimming in the water. And I looked at Tammy, I said, I got to get in there, I got to explore. Because for me, there's nothing, talk about meditation and prayer. There is nothing more soothing than when all you can hear is your own breath. And then you are like surrounded by God's natural beauty. And so I go way out into this bay, and Tammy stays on the shore. And I saw these magnificent turtles like really close to me, and the most beautiful, colorful fish. And the waters were calm and totally clear. You could see forever. I mean, I could see everything. And then after about 45 minutes, I decided I should probably start heading back towards shore. And I was way out there. And the thing about this bay is it never got deeper than about 6 or 8 feet of water. So I swim about halfway back in, and at this point I'm standing up, and I take off my mask. I'm in about 4 feet of water, and I take off my mask, and Tammy's back on the shore, and she's just waving at me, happy as can be. And so I put the mask back down, and I start to make my way all the way to shore. And I get to shore, and do you know what she says to me? She says, oh my goodness, did you see that huge shark swimming right next to you? No, honey, I didn't see that huge shark swimming next to me. She says, yeah, it even circled around you a few times. Yeah, honey, do you remember when you were waving at me really happy? That might have been a good time to maybe wave me in, maybe give the universal crisis signal, like get your butt back here. And she says to me, oh, I just thought you saw it because when you stood up and you were waving back to me, it was like right next to you at that point. Is it true? Sometimes we are too close to our own lives to see what's really there, to see what's really happening. We think we can see everything, but you're right in it. You're right in the middle of it. We can't see what's really there. And isn't it interesting? The problem wasn't the water. I mean, the water was clear. I thought I could see everything. But she was on the shore, and she could see things that I could not see for myself. I say this to y'all to remind you that in the waters of your life, you will experience so much beauty. I mean, get in there and explore. Put that mask and snorkel on and go. Go deep into the waters of your recovery. Go deep into the waters of your faith and explore. Explore this new life that you've been given by God. Go deep into it. But in the waters of this life that you are living, you also need to be aware that there will always be things that you cannot see. And it's not because you're unintelligent. It's not because you're not spiritual enough or God is distant. It is not because you're bad. But keep in mind, they are standing in a different place. Therefore, they have a different perspective, maybe a perspective that you need. And who are the ones who can expose these things to you? Who are the ones who can see the things that you can't see? Who are the ones who make you better? Do you know, I love the book of Proverbs. Proverbs, you can find this book in the Old Testament, or what's called the Hebrew Bible. The Proverbs are just an ancient collection of wisdom sayings by the Hebrew people, so the Hebrew stream of consciousness, and they put these sayings together somewhere around the 4th century BC. So this is very ancient wisdom stuff we're talking about here. And check out this ancient wisdom saying, Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Do you know this Facebook memory came up on my Facebook page this week on Monday? Yeah, you know how Facebook does? It reminds you of things you did 14 years ago. This was actually now 14 years and 5 days ago. It was May 25th of 2012. Some of y'all will recognize this story because I've told this story here before. I just had no idea I actually posted about this on Facebook. Some of you know that this was in a time in my life where I was 5 months sober, 5 months without a drink. And when I crafted that post, that really lengthy post, it's time to relax up in Vail, Colorado, I actually meant it. I was being honest. I was intentional about relaxing without a drink, and especially on this weekend because it was Tammy's birthday. The problem was, and when I saw this post this week, man, it brought me right back to that time. The problem was I wasn't doing any inner work. I certainly wasn't doing any spiritual work in the inner self. I had this obsession. I was totally obsessed that one day, once I get more mature, once I figure this thing of addiction out, once I can make sense of it and beat it, then I can drink like normal people. I can drink like my wife and just have a glass of wine and be done. I was totally obsessed with that. Some of you know on May 25th of 2012, 14 years ago, I picked up a drink that night. And it wasn't just about that night. It was about the next 6 months. It brought me right back to the same darkness, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't put down a drink. It brought me right back. And so 6 months of this, I call a friend of mine who was in this program called Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to a few meetings, but only a few. And I met with him. He was gracious enough to meet with me again. And we're sitting at the table, and he had a big book with him, big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm explaining to him, I said, dude, I don't understand how this happened. I don't understand how I got here. I was so sure. I made promises that I was never going to drink again, and I don't know how this happened. I didn't plan to go up to Vail, Colorado and drink that weekend. And it's had me for 6 months again, and I don't know how I got here. And he says, Ryan, open this book to page 30 and read this paragraph out loud. And I thought, man, this is stupid. I don't need to be reading a book right now. I just need you to tell me how I got here. Tell me how to survive this. The paragraph he had me read out loud comes from page 30. It reads, the idea that somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. And I'm reading that, and I stop. I'm like, dude, that's exactly what it's been like. That's me. He says, I know. Just keep reading. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. And I was like, dude, that's exactly how it feels. I feel like I'm going crazy with this. He says, I know, just keep reading. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently may be, has to be smashed. And isn't it something? There was a shark in my waters, and I couldn't see it. But thank God he's standing on the shores of recovery, and he was able to see things that I could not see for myself. And with his help and with God's help, I had to learn what it was to fully concede to my innermost self. I had to learn what it was to smash that delusion, and I can tell you today that delusion that I can drink like other people, it has been completely smashed. I do not struggle with that today. Today, I don't struggle with it. I have a great deal of clarity that Ryan cannot pick up a drink. It will bring me back to the same darkness. You see, who in your life has the permission to tell you about the things that you cannot see for yourself? Who in your life, who are the ones who make you better? As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Do you know, recently, and when I say recently, I don't mean the distant past, I mean like in the last couple of weeks. Tammy and I, we were going through something in our marriage. And it wasn't one of the big things, it was one of those little things, but you know, those little things, they can keep you tripped up along the way. And it was one of those little things that, I mean, you know how it is in a relationship, it's true, you can be in close proximity with each other, you can love each other with your whole heart, and at the same time you can still miss each other. And that's what we were doing. We were just on this particular issue, we were just missing each other, passing each other. I didn't know that one day last week, that morning, Tammy had called my mom to get some perspective, which, by the way, is totally okay because my mom is someone in our lives who she has the permission to show us the things that we can't always see for ourselves. She's been a wisdom teacher in our lives. She has that permission. Why? Because we know that she loves us, she cares for us, she always wants what's best for us, she has our best interest. Be careful with the ones you give permission to. And so later that day, I called Mom, because I call Mom several times a week. I check in with her, and she checks in with me. And on the way home, leaving free, I called Mom, and we were talking for a minute. And then she says to me, yeah, Tammy called me this morning, and she told me about that thing you guys are going through. I says, I didn't know she called you. And then I immediately launch into, well, here's how we're going to fix it, and here's what we need to do, and Ma, what we're going to do is I think we need to go way back into our past and figure out this history, and Ma, we may even need some outside perspective, because the whole thing's about outside perspective, and maybe even pull in a marriage therapist again, and Ma, I think what we really need to do, because I'm a big advocate of fear inventory, we need to take fear inventory of our marriage, and this is going to be the thing that fixes us. And she was totally silent. Silent to the point where I thought the call dropped. And I'm saying, Ma, are you there? Ma, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Well, Ma, how come you ain't saying anything? And there was another long pause. And then she says to me, Ryan, I think you guys already have all the tools you need. I'm not sure there's more to explore here, but maybe it's time to put those tools into practice. Ooh. Oh, then she got me where it really hurts. You know what she says to me? She says, Ryan, what would you tell a sponsee who keeps dealing with the same thing? Because you do know it's true. Sometimes we can get addicted to talking about the problem. Sometimes we can even get addicted. I'm a big fan of therapy, but be careful. We can be addicted to therapy because we just love to talk about ourselves, talk about the problem, give me perspective, but we never put it in action. And I thought I was seeing so clearly, but I was missing the simple things, because sometimes I miss the simple things. And who in your life has permission to tell you about the things you cannot see for yourself? Who are the ones that make you better? Because see, sometimes what happens is I want to read that proverb. I want to read that proverb as if it says, as iron sharpens iron, so Ryan sharpens himself. And it's not the way it works. How does it work? As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And y'all, here's why I think this actually matters. Do you know, last week when Dan Rapp called me, Dan Rapp is the father of Austin Rapp. Austin was part of this community. He fought towards recovery for many years, for a long time. Dan was calling me to let me know that Austin lost the battle. Soon after that phone call, Lex Papish called me. Lex is here, part of this community, sitting in the front row tonight. Lex loved Austin, walked with Austin for a long time. Lex is the owner of Akron Sober Living. And when Lex and I talked, we had a moment of grief together over the phone, and then Lex said a line to me, and it's a line that stood out to me. It's not one that I'm going to forget anytime soon. He says to me, "I'm not sure Austin ever really believed us when we told him he was worth saving. I'm not sure Austin ever really believed us when we told him he was worth saving." And it's true, isn't it? I mean, did he ever really see how loved he was? Did he ever really see how many people were rooting for him? Did he ever really see that his life, his recovery was worth it? Did you ever really see it? Did he ever really see the shark in the waters that was circling around him? And maybe you're here tonight and you just can't see it. And it is not because you're bad, or it's not because you're not spiritual enough. It's not because you're unintelligent. But who are the ones who have permission in your life to show you, to tell you about the things that you can't see for yourself? And let me ask that question another way. Very important. Who are the ones in your life who have permission to remind you who you are? Because maybe you're facing a situation in your life where you have some big decisions to make, maybe even some medium decisions to make. Maybe you're in a situation in your life where things, they just feel a bit heavier than they usually do. Or maybe you're in a situation where, man, you were cruising along and things were just fine until things weren't, and now you just have some questions. And be very careful, because your mind will try to convince you that you are seeing everything, and you're seeing everything so clearly. But is it possible that there are things that you cannot see? And y'all, here's what I know. Whenever inner suffering increases, even just a little bit, identity confusion also increases. And I'll close with this. There's a passage in the New Testament. And in this passage, the context is, man, the people, they're tired. They're tired, and they've been displaced. They've been scattering. Now they're living in a culture that's not their own. And man, all they're trying to do is just follow the teachings of Jesus. They're trying to follow the way of Jesus. But at the same time, they feel like they're on the verge of totally losing themselves and losing who they are. And Peter, he's a leader among these people. He's a church leader for this group in the first century. And I love what Peter does, because he does not come along to them and tell them how to survive. And that's what they really want. Isn't it what we want? Just tell us how to survive this. Now, he comes along to them and he simply reminds them who they are, because they're right in the middle of it and they can't see it. He drops these lines on them. Check it out. 1 Peter chapter 2. He says to them, "But you are the ones chosen, God's instruments to do God's work, to tell others of the night and day difference God made for you, from nothing to something, from rejected to accepted." That's a pretty good voice to give permission to help you see the things that you cannot see. And let me remind you, my brothers and sisters, you are chosen and loved. You, my brothers and sisters, have great purpose in this life. You are instruments of God. What you do with your life matters. And you, my brothers and sisters, even when you can't see it, even when you don't feel it, you don't sense it, you are totally accepted. That's how God sees you. That's how I hope in this community we see one another. And when you can't see it, surround yourself with those who can. And I think this has everything to do with what the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous refers to when it says, enlarge your spiritual life. You must enlarge your spiritual life. And when it comes to this work, we're all in it together. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. See who in your life has permission to tell you about the things you cannot see. Who in your life, who are the ones that make you better, and we get to go out and make things better. Do you know when Jesus was with his friends? This is just hand sanitizer. I gotta clean the phalanges, Carrie tells me, before I touch some bread. When Jesus was with his closest friends, the night before he was murdered, executed on a Roman execution stake called a cross. We gathered with his friends and they had dinner together, and Jesus takes some bread and he breaks it. And he says, "This is my body given for you." And they had to be a little creeped out by this. Like, where's he going with it? Then he takes his cup and he says, "This is the cup of the new covenant. This is my life poured out for you." And they had to wonder, like, well, why is Jesus talking this way? What's he even talking about? And I imagine Jesus says in that moment, listen, y'all, you need to know I'm not going to be here forever. And I know you guys. I know the human way, and we forget who we are. And listen, when you start to forget who you are, he drops this line, "Do this in remembrance of me." And they had to be wondering, do what? Do what in remembrance of you, Jesus? Every time you get together and eat, every time you gather together in community, remember who you are and whose you are. Remember your job. You are an instrument of God. You are God's instruments in the world to go love other people. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget the mission. Don't lose sight of it. So during this time, we're going to hear a song together. It's a beautiful song by this band called Satsang, and it's called "Make It Better." And as we do that, Carrie, you need to wash your phalanges too. As we do that, if you want, it's certainly not required, but you can come forward during the song. Tammy and I will be on this side. Carrie and Jason will be on this side. Everyone's welcome. There is nothing that keeps you away from the table of God. There are no rules and requirements. Everyone is welcome. So if you want to come forward, we'll just tear you off a little piece of bread. You can dip it in the cup. By the way, it is Welch's grape juice, not wine. Very important in this community. And then you can take that piece of bread and dip it in the juice if you need a reminder of God's love. It's a simple symbol of God's love for you to remember who we are and whose we are. So during the song, if you want to come forward, I would invite you to come down the center aisle and then go back to your seat down the side aisles because, well, last time we had a bit of a cluster when everyone was coming from different directions. So if we could do it in like an orderly fashion, that would be best. Just come down the center aisle and we'll be on the sides and you can go back to your seat after that.
Welcome back, friends. If you are new with us, you should know that every week we invite a community member up into the living room to share a little of their story on the topic at hand. I had a wonderful time. This was actually 2 weeks ago that we met. And I had known Ben for some time, but I never really knew his story. He always seemed like such a happy-go-lucky, kind of like the life of the party kind of energy. And then I heard some of his story, and it made so much sense. So I can't wait for you guys to meet him. But can you please do me a favor and help welcome Ben up to the living room?
Hi. Hi, I'm Ben. I'm an alcoholic.
So we already started, and you're already so funny. But I want to actually get to it because there's so much to your story. And again, because it was 2 weeks ago, I took notes when we did this because I will forget my brain. So I'm not checking text messages if I'm looking at my phone, I promise. But I wanted to get into your story because one of the things that you had said about alcohol is it helped you be around people. It helped you feel okay. It helped you feel socially accepted. Before recovery, what were you trying hard to escape from or become? Like what did alcohol help you become?
Alcohol helped me, I don't know, in some strange ways just to find myself a little bit, to be social. When I was a kid, I think around like 5 years old, my father knocked me out. It was the first time I was ever knocked out, and it was bad, really bad. But what does an alcoholic do? You just pretend it didn't happen. So I think I was just laying on the floor for a while. For the rest of my life, my neurodivergence already was just really confused. And I think what alcohol did to me was like lift some kind of, I don't want to say like an effort veil, but some kind of veil that made me talk. It made me talk to people. It made me kind of understand, because I didn't know social norms. I still don't think I know social norms.
Do any of us, though? Do any of us? I mean, I don't know.
We're all kind of weirdos, and I love it. And
that's what I love about like the work of being human is that we're all learning to do this together. And one of the things that we had we talked about that incident when you were 5 was it was also one of the first times that you kind of put 2 and 2 together that love sometimes didn't always land safely, right? Because it would actually happen. It was you and your sisters heads together, right? And then that sense of confusion where you're like, wait, I love you, and yet I'm doing this to you, and not really knowing how to understand the world around you. And alcohol, you said, kind of brought a peace to you, and it brought like, oh, like now I feel settled.
Yeah, it was like almost like a kind of focused, energy, of understanding it. Just sparked a different kind of focus, a different part of myself that allowed me to be more social.
One of the things that we didn't talk about this before, but one of the things that I loved when you shared, you said that you have been 21 since you were 15 years old. So you kind of ran like a little under the table ID making business, and you were able to, but you were kind of the go-to guy. People wanted to be your friend, and that's how you ended up, and you had a stepbrother later on in life who was kind of the like all-star sports guy, and you found yourself in all of these different roles and wearing all of these different masks. And one of the things that you said, and humor was a big deal for you, and you used a lot of that to survive. And then when you were in recovery today, how do you find the balance between the Ben you project to the world outside of you in order to fit in, to belong, to have people, I don't know, socially acceptable, and the real Ben? How do you know the difference if you're wearing the mask or if you are truly showing up as your authentic self?
That's a very good question. I would say, like from that young age, trying to find, discovering humor, and always being kicked out in the hallway, but just having that, 2 minutes of laughter was everything. And, the thing about being 100% sober, and I'm like 2 months away from being a year and a half sober, and this place is a huge part of that. But is being present, it's incredible to be present. I think the epitome of like inserting pause is being present in the moment and not waiting to speak, and not already regretting something you said or thinking about something you're gonna say. Like sometimes I think my best share is when I'm not trying to be, funny, when I'm not trying to get a message across, when I'm just like, coming out, freely. And that's what I feel, because I wore a lot of masks, because I didn't understand anything, but I understood how cool I was when I could make you be 18 or 21, and what name do you want? I was John James Miller. I couldn't forget that, I think it was a really cheesy address too, being the sophomore or the junior buying alcohol for all the seniors, or I'm a professional entertainer. I do corporate entertainment, and not being like, find some way to drop it, for Huntington's disease this weekend, I helped raise $30,000, and I've, you just drop it in a share or something, and it's not authentic. And I think that's what, for me, the pause is more than just overcoming agitation, like frustration, but also I think the pause is like love, too. I think the pause, I know the pause is, nothing says I love you than, looking somebody in their eyes and being present and just being there for them. And I think that's like, I've had some people pass. I had a childhood friend pass of this disease. And I went to go talk to his mother, who I've been working with since the age of 15. I felt this moment of, oh, my condolences, or any of these things that you're supposed to say, but just looking in their eyes and looking into their soul, after a good hug, and like even just like a little shake of a head. And so for me, being present is the epitome of the sobriety, not living in the past and being in the future, but loving a little more.
And on that living in the past bit, we also spoke a lot about having to let go of old stories and having to learn to accept apologies that were never given to us. Can you tell us a little bit of what it looks like in your recovery journey to let go of some of those either old versions of yourself or old versions that were keeping you trapped in the past?
Yeah, the thing that didn't help with the neurodivergence and just the confusion of the brain trying to make its way is, so my father left at 13, my mom, we get really, really, really depressed and just come home from work and just be in bed. So I had to discover and self-navigate so many, things. And my mother has, she had a stroke. She had breast cancer, and if you ever meet my mother, and some of it by the people in the 930 here got to meet her, but she's, Ben, they were just so wonderful. They were so honest, and I just loved hearing their stories. Just a beautiful, sincere woman who's been beating the crap out of herself because she knows what happened, and so I couldn't say anything that she hasn't already said to herself. Right? And I really just want a chance to apologize to her. I don't need an apology. But my father, I swear he's like neurodivergent too. He comes from a family where, I mean, like, oh, you got knocked out once by your dad? Well, I got thrown down this, it's the Jerry Springer show, that's all. And I have to accept, like, whenever I try to bring up a couple things, like, he is completely clueless. Like, I know for a fact he is completely clueless. And even if I could try to talk to him about it, he would never understand it. So, like, I have to be in this perpetual consistency of consistent forgiveness, because then he'll start talking about how my mom effed him over like this, or blah, 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 blah. And I'm good at freezing that moment, and then he's like, oh, we don't talk about that. But I'm never going to get an apology, He's not going to be on his deathbed and be like, oh, I was never there for you, and that's okay. I don't need that. I'll tell you the epitome of being sober and the beauty of the program of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous is I was in a meeting once at York, and this older gentleman, I don't know what I did or what I shared or what I said, but he just came up to me and he said, forgiveness is beautiful. Forgiveness is beautiful. And I'm like, why are you saying this to me, sir? I don't know you. He's like my grandpa. But he said, yeah, forgiveness. You should forgive your dad. And I'm like, damn. And I think that's what it is. I don't know if that answers the question, but I think not needing that to resolution to that resentment is what's going to set me free. And I feel free because of that.
I think that was the perfect way to answer that question. Because I do think that that's something that's part of the work of being human, right? Like this forgiveness, and that includes forgiving ourselves for being those different versions of us and all the ones who had to wear those different masks.
Yeah.
And I want to say, you are going to stick around, right? And you are here. You're here mainly during the day, during the week, but I would highly encourage you guys to come up and get to know him. He'll stick around after. But I wanted to end with one final question, because I loved how we summed this up, and we kind of we kind of geeked out a little bit on this, and I loved it. But it was like, I wanted to know this feeling, right? Like, you had said that it was easier to die than to keep living the way that you were living, and that you knew that you had to make that change. And so to the person who's out there tonight who feels hopeless, who believes that it would be easier to die than to get sober, or easier to die than to walk into free, what would you say to them tonight in your beautiful words of wisdom that you tied up so beautifully?
Thank you. That's a big buildup right there.
No pressure.
So in tarot, there's this card called the Fool, and it's the 0. It's the most. It's like the best card to ever get pulled up. And the reason that the Fool is so beautiful is it's about innocence, and it's this guy just walking up a hill, and this is not what I would say to the person, by the way.
But it kind of is. It kind of wraps around.
Hey,
I'm gonna give you a tarot reading right now.
Got you right now, bro. But he's just happy-go-lucky, and he has a stick, like a little hobo stick. With I don't think that's PC, but like it's like a little
travel satchel.
Yeah,
on the
a little
stick.
travel satchel. Now they wear it around their person, but they used to hold it on a stick, and just walking free. And I think a lot of people can relate to this, and I think we're preach this, but like, yeah, dying is such an absolute thing, right? The Phoenix. I want to be the Phoenix. Nothing against the Phoenix Center, if anybody's listening. But oh, boo, I gotta die. I gotta destroy everything to rise up. And that's mythological. It's not real. If you light yourself on fire, it's not a good thing. But for me, that's what I would do. And that seemed like the better solution to feel what I was feeling, because that is terrible. It's a terrible feeling, going through withdrawals. But I would say to the person, that innocence can be felt at any time, no matter what happened to you in your youth, no matter what happened to you earlier in life, no matter what, time or how many times you got, your head bonked. It's never too late to face something with absolute innocence. And there's so much beauty, like the true beauty is the innocence of a child, right? And I think we don't know anything. We don't know anything. There's no TV program we can watch. There's no movie we can watch. There's nothing that would give us anything other than just looking at something with completely fresh new eyes. And I think that's the epitome of surrender. Like, that's what surrender is. And I think when you tell somebody, just surrender, yeah, cool, that was that easy, let's go. No, but you already have everything on you right now. You have everything on you. It's not about your future, it's not about your past, it's all in you. It's already there. And just walk into it, happy, go free, 100%. I love how Ryan showed how cool he was earlier when he was like, 100.
Oh.
Yeah, 100. 100. That wasn't like a stab. I was trying to say you're cool. 100. And he's cooler than most preachers out there, I think. but 100, to be 100% giving to it without any preconceived notions, nothing you ever seen anybody else before. I think that is the ability to come through on the other side, and that's how I feel.
And I love too, because what you were saying, too, 100. Is and back to kind of what Ryan was saying, is sometimes we do need an outside perspective to help us look at it. Because you might look at the Fool card in tarot and be like, I don't want to be the fool.
Yeah.
That sounds like a terrible thing to be. But the way you interpret it and the way that you actually said that, actually it's that happy, joyous, and free, and you have everything inside of you. And sometimes you just need a different perspective to look at things just a little bit different. You don't need to be the phoenix. You can be the fool.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about the Fool is they play by different rules. There's no rules. You get to make fun of the king and entertain everybody because there is no rules. And if you don't try to do what everybody else is doing, you get to do this thing, get to do your own thing. And that is success, and that is a new way of looking at it. But yeah. Happy, joyous, and free. I love that. There's a book about that. And they say it a lot, but I think that's the epitome of it, right? Just I got it all. Everything's fine. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I hope you stick around, and if you want to hear more about what he has to say, he's a very fascinating individual. But can you guys please do me a favor and give Ben a round of applause?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Come on. Hold on. Stay up here 1 second, Ben, because if you've never gotten the opportunity to see Ben live with comedy, he's actually really funny, and he somehow ties in a beautiful message to it. That's my favorite part of your comedy. Do you have a show coming up?
Improv class, and I would love for you to sign up and come to it, and it's a wonderful way to learn how to be the fool again.
Yes, you are a fool, man. You're a fool. Thank you for being a fool. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, there we go.
June 6th. June 6th.
Who's saying that? Was that Matthew? Thank you. Because our online people would have missed that. June 6th, he's going to be teaching class. And Sober Open Mic Night, you online people can actually participate in that because it's live streamed. So that's in July. All right, y'all. The way we close things down here on a Saturday night is very similar to how we begin. We begin with what we call celebrations. We lift up the good. We close with what we call heartaches, the hard stuff that you are walking through, the burdens that you are carrying. Some of you have been trying to carry these alone because it's a little scary to put words to it. But you do suck at carrying them alone. It's why we have community. It's why we have a God who hears the cries of the people. So we take 3 minutes for this. If you're online, you can drop your heartaches in the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments. We'll join with you there. In person, well, Matthew has a mic on this side. David has a mic on this side. All you got to do is raise up your hand. If you need some prayer, some encouragement, support, that's what this 3 minutes is for, and this time is yours.
Hi, my name is Bree, and I would like prayers for the Kaler family and my parents. Wally Kaler passed away very suddenly and very quickly, and it has just taken us all by surprise, and we will miss him. So just prayers for the Kaler family, please.
All right, lifting up your family.
My dear friend had to put down her dog today, so this prayer is for her. I'd also like to ask for some prayers. I've just been having a little bit of a hard time recently. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Prayers for your friend and prayers for you, Sarah. Anyone else?
Just prayers for my uncle. He's got long-term sobriety, but he definitely acted out of a character defect that got his job lost, and he's 62 and was at that job for 20 years, so he's trying to figure out what he's going to do with himself.
Yeah.
And yeah, prayers for my Uncle Jim.
All right, prayers for Uncle Jim. All the way in the back.
Thank you. I normally don't speak up, but if I could ask for some prayers for myself. I isolated myself at home for a very long time and ended up breaking my hip and my back and my hand. So I'm in the process of getting help and trying to heal, but if anybody has any prayers for me, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, prayers for you. And what was your name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Prayers for you. Glad you're here. Anyone else? We got time for one more.
I'm Jennifer. Very grateful to be here, and I guess just what I'm struggling with is trust. And my family has seen me relapse multiple times over the last year since Sonia was killed. Her birthday was on Tuesday, and I'm really struggling with how to handle the distrust of me and how to not fall into fight or flight syndrome, as they say, and kind of stay in the what other people think of me is none of my business, and what matters is what I think of myself and what God thinks of me, I guess. And I'm so grateful for all the gifts of my life, but the trust issue is crippling me right now.
Prayers for you, Jennifer. I'm glad you're here. Matthew, you want to join me up here for some online community? Thank you, Matt and David, for...
Seen that jump?
Yeah, I did see that jump. You should do that again.
I'm like your son.
You we'll talk about that. You want to take the first one?
Yeah. JFXSS. Asking for prayers for my father-in-law. He has to go in for heart valve surgery. Also asking for prayers for Brian to be allowed to come home from the hallway to be here for his dad as well. Prayers to you.
Yeah. Halfway? Hallway? We'll have to go back and reread that one maybe. No. Prayers for you, glad you're here. Pamela Less says prayers for the Rapp family. Yes, lifting up the Rapp family. And I did tell you all last week, I meant to say it at the beginning of the service, that Austin's Celebration of Life service will be a week from today, next Saturday, 10 a.m. at St. Luke's United Methodist Church in Highlands Ranch. So thank you, Pamela, lifting them up tonight.
Sunny Charlie says, hi, I would like to have prayers sent out for my niece. She's really struggling right now. She had a breakdown, and she needs all the prayers she can get. So prayers to your niece, Sunny, and they're in our thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. Lindsay says, prayers for stability, job, romantic breakup, and my son wants to drop out of high school. Lindsay, lifting you up tonight. Prayers for you, your son, the breakup, all of it. Glad you're here tonight, lifting you up. Thank you, Matthew, for joining me up here. And let me say one other thing. Next week, we're going to start a new series. It's going to take us all the way through June and July. This series is going to be called God Shots, because there's a subtitle, You Can't Make This Shit Up. So here's what I'm asking you to do. I would love for you to email me. I've never asked you all to do this before, but I'm asking you now, and online people too. Email me some of your best and most recent God shots. I would love to hear from you. Where have you experienced the God shot? If you don't know what a God shot is, ask Tammy or Carrie, and they're going to explain it all to you. All right, y'all. If you have been impacted by this mission of breaking the silence of addiction, if this is your home, your people, your community, well, we do rely upon your generous giving here. It's what one of the things that allows us to keep doing what we do, keep going forward. There's a few different ways to give if you'd like to donate free. You can download the app, A Free Recovery Community. It's free to download. All of our content's on there. There's a giving button on there. You can give one time or set it up to do recurring if that's your jam. We're grateful for that. You can do the same thing on your website. How about our website, freerecoverycommunity.com? Or for those of you in-house, there's giving boxes just outside both sets of doors. You can give that way. And there's the Kind kiosk just outside these doors on your right. It's the one tippy-tap system. Tippy-tap system? Yes, I always get it right. One tippy-tap system if you want to give that way. It's kind of fun and cool and a safe way to give. Thank you all for being a part of it. And I know for many of you, giving hasn't really been a part of your life. It wasn't certainly part of your addiction, and now you're developing these new practices, and it's a sacrificial practice. And I just want you to know we're really grateful for it. It truly does make a difference. And if you don't give here, I hope you do give somewhere. Find people in need, find an organization in need, and give, because giving truly does change you. Thank you for being a part of it. Shall we go out with a prayer? Can I tell them one more story real quick? I'm going to make this real quick because I was reminded when I sat down after my message. Do you know what happened the next day in Hawaii? Almost. I had my mask and my snorkel. We pulled up to Magic Sands Beach, a beautiful beach, and right when we pull up, I see a shark in the water. The lifeguard is pulling everyone out. He's getting everyone out. And so we walked up, and I asked the lifeguard, I said, what's going on? He says, there's a shark in the water. We got to keep everyone out for 2 hours. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, this shark we think is one that's been causing problems because just a couple of days ago, some guy's leg was like gashed into. It wasn't me. But you never know. So I didn't go snorkeling that day. I would encourage you to just open up the hands, just a simple sign of openness. Maybe tonight you're open to those in your life who make you better. They're pointing to things that you can't always see. Maybe tonight you're open to see yourself in new ways, the way God sees you. Fully loved, accepted, great purpose. So just take a big, deep breath If you don't know the ACA Serenity Prayer, it's on the screen. We'll pray it together. It goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know that one is me. Amen. Grace and peace to you. See you next time.